Have you ever wondered why some characters effortlessly one-shot others, even in cross-universal battles like Goku versus Saitama or Xeno-sama versus Alien X? It's not just about strength or speed, it's about something far deeper: dimensionality. In fiction, power isn't always physical. It can be metaphysical, conceptual, and even beyond the concept of existence itself. In today's video, we're diving into the true mechanics of dimensional power scaling, breaking it down into three crucial parts: quantitative versus qualitative superiority, reality fiction transcendence, and how hacks works across higher dimensional planes. If you think your favorite character is unbeatable, this video might change your mind. Whether it's a fight between Goku and Saitama, or a fight between Xeno-sama and Alien X, or even if it's about making the entire DC and Marvel universes clash, dimensionality always plays a very important role. The character or verse that has a higher dimensional level always one-shots the other character. So to understand dimensionality and what lies beyond it, we need to divide this video into three parts. Number one is what is quantitative and qualitative superiority in dimensionality. Number two is what is reality fiction transcendence in dimensionality. And number three is how higher dimensional or beyond dimensional beings hacks work. Without wasting any time, let's talk about number one, the quantitative and qualitative difference. So first comes the quantitative difference. We'll also divide it into three parts to understand it properly: low quantitative superiority, quantitative superiority, and meta-quantitative superiority. So if we talk about low quantitative superiority, it's the kind of difference that exists within the same dimensional level, like the power difference between a normal human and a star. A star is not inaccessible to a normal human, and in fiction, there are many characters who have destroyed planets or stars. So if two 3D characters have no higher dimensional existence or power, then when they fight, the feats they performed on 3D levels matter. Like a 3D being can only destroy a 3D mountain, but its opponent can destroy a 3D star with its power. Then the being that can destroy a star will one-shot the mountain-level being. And yes, we're not talking about speed today. The topic is only dimensionality. Now comes the upper level of quantitative difference in dimensionality. We don't know about reality, but in fiction, a 3D being can have 5D level power. That's why in power scaling, dimensional difference is called quantitative. There are two ways to scale to this level. One is if a 3D character has so much power that it can destroy a high-dimensional realm, or that the character's existence itself is higher dimensional. Like the difference between a 2D sheet and a 3D cube. A 3D cube's existence is 3D. Now let me explain this through three types of battles in a neutral zone. The first battle is between characters whose existence is 5D, meaning higher dimensional. So the winner of this fight will be the one who can do more destruction on the 5D level. Like I gave the 3D mountain and star example. Similarly, add one more thing. If a being has infinite 3D power, it means that being is 3D omnipotent, and this process continues from infinite to irrelevant dimensionality until absolute omnipotence is achieved, which exists at a beyond dimensional level. Now let's talk about the next battle between a 3D being and a 5D being. So if the 3D being's attack potency is not above 5D, the 5D being will easily win this battle. But if the 3D being has 6D or 7D power, then the 3D being can perceive the 5D being's length, height, and width, and defeat it with 6D power. Like if we 3D beings are attacked even slightly by a 4D attack, what would happen to us? Now, if we talk about the next battle, both beings are 3D. One has 15D power, and the other has 26D power. Then the 26D powered being will easily win. After that comes meta-quantitative level, which is almost impossible to achieve, but you can still achieve it by destroying a transfinite amount of dimensions. So our quantitative part ends here. Now let's talk about qualitative superior level. At this level, the scale goes even beyond reality fiction transcendence, which we'll explain later. And if a realm conceptually transcends a 4D realm, still it will be 5D and not Outerversal until it transcends the concept of dimensionality. And apply the same logic right now to reality fiction transcendence, which we'll explain further. Like if a realm sees the 10D realm as fiction, then for that realm the 10D level of dimensionality will be non-existent, but still it will be bounded by 11D. So if a realm lacks the concept of dimensionality and transcends it, and dimensionality itself is non-existent for it, such things don't exist for it, then that realm will be Outerversal. But if a 3D being or dimensional being is able to exist within that realm and destroy it, then that realm will not be Outerversal until that 3D being amps itself using beyond-dimensional beings or powers. For example, Dragon Ball characters amp themselves with ki, which is non-physical, and with the help of that ki, they destroy Outerversal realms like the afterlife. So it means that the ki in Dragon Ball allows destruction up to Outerversal level, and yes, Dragon Ball characters like Goku are truly Outerversal. You can check out my previous videos. Now I'll give you another example from Marvel. Although the Marvel's Beyond Realm is not Outerversal, which we'll debunk in a future video. But as an example, the Beyond Realm in Marvel Comics is Outerversal, for the concept of dimensionality is non-existent, and it conceptually transcends it. Now imagine that Beyonder is a 3D being, and the one above all is an Outerversal being. And here I'm talking about existence. So the one above all amps Beyonder through one of its avatars to such a level that Beyonder can destroy an Outerversal realm. Then this reason is also valid for scaling to Outerversal level. So I hope you've understood dimensionality well. That's why now let's move on to reality fiction transcendence. And yes, I'll use the term high Outerversal here because I've already explained up to Outerversal, so the reality fiction difference is not about dimensionality. It's like how we real-life beings view fiction. Fiction stories are non-existent for us. So if a realm views an Outerversal realm as fiction, then that realm will be high Outerversal, because for that realm, things like the Outerverse are non-existent. And even if time exists in that high Outerversal realm, it will still be high Outerversal due to the reality fiction transcendence. Like we real-life beings are also 3D, but the beyond-dimensional realms of fiction are nothing in front of us. Now let's do a battle between a being that views an Outerversal realm as fiction versus an Outerversal character. So in this battle, the high Outerversal character views the Outerversal character as fiction. For the Outerversal being, it will be like a paper. So the high Outerversal being will cut that paper and win the battle. Now comes the last topic about hacks. So hacks, or Smurf hacks, by definition, are those abilities that can work on the opponent. Even if that opponent is a beyond-dimensional or higher-dimensional being or realm, hacks can still work on it. Like we are also told on Versus Battle Wiki that hacks can work on qualitative superior levels too. But what's the case with reality fiction transcendence? So as I said, in reality fiction transcendence, no matter how strong your opponent is, it will still be fiction in front of you until that opponent brings its existence to that level by amping itself with a high Outerversal being's avatar. That's why on Versus Battle Wiki, it's also said that hacks doesn't work on the reality fiction difference. Your opponent is just like a sheet, like a manga, in front of us real-life beings. Let me give you an example. We real-life beings are reading a manga, and within that there's a character who can perform 5D level destruction with its hacks. So does that mean it can kill us real-life beings too? No. Right. That's the main point. I hope you understood it well. If still anything is unclear, the comment section is open. Ask freely, and you'll get your answer. And yes, hacks is also scaled using the tiering system. Like if a character performs 5D level destruction with its hacks, then its hacks will scale to low complex multiversal level. But that being won't be able to affect complex multiversal characters. And if in any verse, an Outerversal hacks affects a realm that views the user as fiction, then that hacks will still work. But in the neutral zone, that will be considered an anti-feat, meaning the feat won't be usable in real battles because that feat broke the rules of power scaling. Now, let me give you all one extra tip too. So if a verse's dimensionality is capped at 8D, and you argue that this verse or a character from this verse can perform destruction at the 9D level, then that will be a no-limit fallacy. And one more thing, if a realm normally transcends an Outerversal realm, then it will be one layer into Outerversal. And these layers also continue infinitely until some kind of conceptual transcendence appears, which would be high Outerversal. And if within the normal layers of Outerversal, there comes a layer where time still exists, then that one layer will contradict the scaling of its lower layers to Outerversal level, because it was a normal transcendence, not a reality fiction transcendence. Stay tuned and power up your knowledge. Well, this is Scalinox, where fiction meets power.